Welcome back. Here we are, Chapter 1, Video 1 of POD. So because of distance learning, every once in a while I'm going to come on here and make videos, and on days I'm going to be gone, so that way just kind of our normal classroom structure. But as always, the joke of the day. So I'm curious if you guys know how much the sun weighs. All to be truthful, nobody really knows, but it does look pretty light. So as always, take it in, laugh it off, but now we get back to POD. So POD is going to be a little bit different when we have in-class lectures. It's going to be more based on discussion, but those discussion questions I still want you to answer while you're doing your notes. So here's going to be the first question that you guys are going to be answering for your notes for Chapter 1, Video 1. And this is an opinion question. I can't mark it wrong. The only way I'm going to mark it wrong is if you don't really answer it and you don't go into detail. So your first question is going to be, what should make a person a U.S. citizen? And some answers might include like being born in the United States, having a parent be a U.S. citizen, or something along those lines. But overall, I just want to get your perspective. We're going to talk about this in class on Tuesday about what should make somebody a U.S. citizen. So that's your first one, your polling question. Now, what is civics? Now, this class, a lot of times we call it problems of democracy. We're really not going to be talking too much about like just problems that we have in our government. We're going to go over some of the negatives, but we're also going to go through some of the positives as well. But most other schools call this just American civics or a civics course. So what is civics? That's going to be your second question you have to answer. Civics is the study of the rights and duties of citizens. Now, citizens, that's a kind of a loose term oftentimes about somebody living in a specific country. And overall, there have been a ton of changes in citizenship requirements. I mean, they can go all the way back to 2,500 years ago when you had ancient Rome and ancient Greece. For you to be a citizen, you had to be a male, you had to own property. Even thinking more current, even though not too current, but like with the American Revolution and our war, to be a citizen, you had to be white, you had to be a male, you had to own property, so you had to have some wealth. Now, today, citizenship requirement is a lot different. A lot of times it's being born in that country. A lot of times it's taking a naturalization test. But just know civics is how we're studying what our rights and our duties are as citizens. And the term citizen is kind of loose because it's changed over time. But today, and we'll go through this in class on Tuesday, citizenship is going to be being born in the United States, having a parent born in the United States, or that naturalization process, which you guys will be taking in the civics test here pretty quickly. So, what are our rights and duties as citizens? The big thing that we have as rights and duties is really two, and it's kind of a give and take. The first one is, as citizens, you owe loyalty to the government. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to like everything that a politician does or everything that the president says. Now, you can disagree with them. In America, you have every right to disagree with an American politician. But what I mean by loyalty is that you have a sort of passion, you have a sort of respect for the government, and you're not going to try to overthrow it. That's kind of more what I mean by loyalty. It doesn't mean that you can become a citizen of another country. A lot of times if you do that, you lose your American citizenship. But it's showing that loyalty to the United States. And kind of the second aspect of that is that as a citizen, we are entitled to protection from the government. Which, going all the way back to a lot of our founding documents, the Constitution, the preamble starts, "We the people," or even the Declaration of Independence when Thomas Jefferson wrote that it was going to be a government derived of the people and for the people. We are entitled to protection from the government. Now, again, if you break a law, you might not always have that protection. But what I mean is that our government, we have a standing army, we have a standing military. In case another country does try to come in and take away some of our other rights and duties, that protection is going to be given to us. And United States, as a country, I feel, and you might feel differently, I feel pretty pretty protected here. We have one of the strongest countries and strongest militaries in the world. We definitely spend the most on military in the world, but they're going to be given that protection. And then citizens, we are known as part of the country. So because of that, we get the loyalty and the protection as well. Now, America is a changing society. And, immigration is a very hotly contested issue of today. Whether or not we are going to allow people who are refugees, whether or not we're going to allow people into the country, even now with the COVID-19 pandemic. But the United States, we are a melting pot. We are a country of blending different cultures. And it's really easy to see this right away, because we can see like a lot of our foods, a lot of the music that we listen to, come from other countries. So we get that kind of more from immigration. But immigration has changed throughout society. So talking about early immigration, people came over here for various reasons. Now the first one I would say was kind of that get-rich-quick scheme. The people who tried to go to Jamestown and tried to profit off of it. But then people came over for freedom of religion. And as we know, there's the relationship between the United States and the British starts to get strained. And because of that strain, we have the Revolutionary War. But that's going to be early immigration. After that, we have the American independence, and what that mostly is going to be is you start to have more people from France, more people from England, really more people from Western Europe are coming over to the United States, because our country at that time, it was expanding west. We were an independent country, technically speaking, in 1783 when the Treaty of Paris was signed between us and Great Britain. 20 years later, we purchased the Louisiana Territory. So because of that, we are stretching and we are spreading our power, and we are a growing country. So people start to come for a lot of the economic opportunity, what we would call the American dream. So after the American independence, I'd say about the 1850s, we have people more from Southern and Eastern Europe. They start to come, and that is going to be the trend really up until about the 1900s. Now, today, the change in immigration pattern is going to be a lot of people from Latin America or a lot of people from Asia. And a lot of people come, again, for that American dream. But really the big thing that a lot of these major corporations are able to do is they can bring in people specifically to work. In some of those computer jobs and medical field. So really that's going to be kind of the one key indicator for a lot of people to come and emigrate to the United States. But, that's going to be where that change in immigration pattern is going to be brought from Latin America and Asia. And even though I know we have the issue and has become a political issue with building the wall between the U.S. and Mexico border, we still allow about 1 million people to emigrate into the United States every single year. And then lastly, the book characterizes slavery as immigration, which I really don't agree with that. I put it in there usually more as a conversation piece during class, but that did include they include people who were slaves, but again, they were forced. They didn't have the choice. But once we have the 13th Amendment, the people who were once slaves are going to be a part of that changing immigration as we start to expand and spread west. So anyways, we'll stop it here after a couple of topics, and we'll go ahead and go with Chapter 1, Video 2 on Tuesday.